This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Netflix. Coming up on Destructoid, Mojang's new game shows off its scrolly gameplay, Far Cry 3 gets delayed, and Nintendo says that gamers are impossible to please. Really? All that and more right now on Destructoid. Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Anthony Carboni, in for Max Scoville, who got off his leash at the park and just chased some ducks into a cave.
I heard that was what happened, but then I found a doctor's note on his desk that just had the word incurable venereal diseases written on it, so...
Depending on who you talk to.
Could be either one.
Both of them seem equally plausible in the case of Max Scoville.
Indeed they do. But thank you for joining us today, Anthony.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I thought I would endear myself further to your audience by starting off with terrible news. Because that endears you to people, right?
Get on with it.
Sure.
I love terrible news.
Ubisoft has officially delayed Far Cry 3 until December 4th in North America. It was originally slated to come out on September 4th, perfectly filling that gap between Sleeping Dogs and Borderlands 2, so I never have to get off my couch. But now it looks like we gotta wait 3 more months until we get our hands on it. Oddly enough, it'll release in Europe nearly a week earlier on November 29th. The game's producer, Dan Hay, said of the delay, "We're taking more time to create the best possible gameplay experience. Far Cry 3 is a huge offering, and we want every element of this insane, action-packed adventure to be of the highest possible quality for the players." So no word yet on how this is going to affect the multiplayer beta, which was originally planned for this summer. I don't know, man. We played it, seemed pretty solid.
I called it in
Did
my
you?
head. I mean, you know, not to any physical person.
I never actually said it out loud, but I'm still going to do the I told you so.
I so knew that. Well, September's going to be a huge month for releases already. Not that December is really going to be much better.
Even if it was less about tweaking and more about just like changing the release date to a time when it maybe got a little more attention, I could see that happening.
I could see that. But also, they're right, it is a huge game.
I just want to stab tigers with drug-covered knives.
Your time will come, Anthony. Your time will come.
I sure hope so, Tara.
In the meantime, would a digital card game satisfy your appetite?
Almost
Anyone?
never.
No, definitely not. Mojang just released a new trailer for their upcoming digital card game, Scrolls, and it's not hard to see that people are pretty mad at Mojang for making a digital card game. I can't say that word. Okay, whatever. The trailer, which is a little boring because, hello, it's a digital card game, it went up on YouTube this morning and has been getting pummeled with dislikes and nasty comments ever since, such as, "What the fuck is this?" and "Didn't Skyrim come out like 9 months ago? A little early to be making another Elder Scrolls." I can't tell if that person was serious or not, but it's YouTube, so I'm going to assume that they are.
I'm going to say troll.
Yeah.
I'm going to say troll on that.
Anyway, those of you who are looking forward to this game will be happy to know that Mojang is planning on using the same paid beta model that they had in Minecraft when it first launched. So it'll start with a closed alpha period that'll be kicking off in just a few short weeks now. And according to Mojang's co-founder Jacob Porser, the alpha version is going to be far from a feature-complete version of the game, but it will grant players access to both the single and multiplayer portions of the game, as well as the deck builder. And then after the alpha period is over, players are going to have the option to buy the open beta version for a reduced price, which won't be feature complete either, but it will have some added benefits apparently that Mojang has not divulged yet. The full complete version of the game, however, won't launch for a while after that, but Mojang promises it'll include a full single-player world for battling over various scrolls, as well as an auction house, character customization, and questing.
I know that reaction to this has been mixed, and I get why. It's not, when you look at a trailer for this, it's not as instantaneously as exciting and new and different as Minecraft. But I think this is going to be a very solid strategy card game.
You know what, I agree. It really all depends on how the actual game is played. Like, I'm not averse to the idea of digital card games.
No.
Hello, Magic the Gathering, Duels of Planeswalkers, that shit's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's so, like, it's pretty much the exact opposite of Minecraft.
Yeah, they're going to have an uphill climb with their audience.
So they will have an uphill crawl, but
it'll be good. It'll be good, you guys. Hey, you know, you guys may not know this about me, but I am actually a big Dead or Alive fan. So I know that statement carries a lot of unfortunate baggage, right?
Indeed.
Like, you're probably thinking, Anthony loves the bounce physics. Okay.
You do, don't you?
Yes, but hear me out, okay? The DOA series is actually just good, balanced, technical fighters. You know, they're easy to pick up, but there's a lot of depth in there for people who really want to fight seriously. They're good fighting games. At least that is what I always say. But it's getting harder and harder to say that, especially when Tecmo Koei does things like they did today, and they announced the pre-order bonuses and collector's edition details for DOA 5 with this teaser image. Yeah.
That is sexy.
Yeah, don't send a photo of the collector's edition itself or anything. Just Kasumi in a wet bikini. That's fine.
I mean, that's what people
That's
really
gonna
wanna
change
see,
people's
isn't it?
perception of your game, right?
That's more likely to make someone spend $80.
It actually is.
Yeah,
it actually is. So, but the collector's edition is $80. It's exclusive to GameStop. It's going to come in this embossed shell case. It's going to have a CD, an art book, swimsuit costumes, and a poster, which I'm sure is going to be very tasteful.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's going to be artsy. If you pre-order the game, you'll also get access to a set of, oh jeez, bunny bikini costumes.
Yeah.
All right. Pre-ordering at GameStop will get you the Angels collection for Kasumi, Li Fang, and Hitomi, while Amazon gets the Devils collection for Christy, Tina, and Ayane. Both editions arrive September 25th.
I've already pre-ordered mine.
I feel dirty just talking about it, but I like the game. The game is good.
They make it so hard to seem legitimate,
They
though.
really do. The late 90s are over. We need to stop trading it on this stuff. You
Yeah.
need to show people that you have a real game.
But there is a market for it still,
Yeah,
so.
there is.
There is.
You know, while we're talking about collector's editions and artsy games that are worth playing, let me wash this taste out of my mouth by talking about Journey. Everybody loves Journey.
I love Journey.
You came on my show. We talked about
freaking
Journey.
love it.
There's no gender. There's no race. There's no violence. You talk in beeps.
Yeah.
Just like
No
it's a
one can hate
utopian
it.
society,
really is.
which is why they are now releasing it on disc in a special collector's edition. It's going to include a documentary about the making of the game. It's going to have some concept art. It's going to have PSN avatars and themes, as well as that game company's 2 other games. So it's got Flow, Flower, and Journey, and that's complete with soundtracks and developer commentaries. If that wasn't enough, you also get 3 mini games that they built during some 24-hour game jams. It's coming out on August 28th in North America. It's going to cost you $30. If you don't have those games yet, this is totally worth picking up. That's a great collector's edition.
The soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
You get it on an actual CD. I didn't know they made those anymore.
It's crazy.
I know,
I just
right?
use them for my coffee mugs.
Technology.
There's data on them.
Something new every day.
The files are in the computer.
So here's a heartwarming tale for fans of Capcom. Dragon's Dogma has shipped over 1 million copies worldwide, prompting Capcom to expand the series and basically calling it their next big franchise.
All right.
According to Capcom, the game has broken a decade-long record in Japan for highest sales volume of a new IP in its first week. This is now the 55th game to surpass the 1 million shipped mark from Capcom, and it demonstrates once again that Capcom ranks among the world's leading game producers in terms of technical and development skills. Those are their words, obviously, not mine. I would never say something
You got
like
really
that.
eloquent all
Yeah,
of a second. I wondered where
totally.
it came from.
I have been reading a lot of PR emails. So what does this mean? Okay, well, a spokesperson for Capcom said that they want the series to become a pillar of earnings,
Which I think is actually a location in the game, right? You
it
go to
might
the
be.
pillar
It's
of
a tower
earnings.
that
Yeah.
just like shits out money all over people, and then they're like covered in shit money. But realistically, it just means like sequels and possible
Gotcha.
DLC for the first game. Yeah, they're thinking about adding more DLC for the first game, which is hilarious. But sarcasm aside, I'm kind of excited that this is happening. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get to play the first game myself, but Max reviewed it, played like hours and hours of it. He liked it.
Yeah, everybody I talked to says the game had a lot of great ideas. It seems like it has like a lot of novel mechanics, and I love the companion system, but it was just like, everybody says it wasn't entirely there. So
Yeah.
a sequel and the fact that it gets to do another
Yeah.
one, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think they've got something unique with the pawn system there. They need to just kind of work out the kinks a little bit, and I think people will be pretty receptive to
For
it.
sure.
For sure. So we're gonna take a quick second to thank our sponsor, and then we'll be back with some Nintendo talk.
Oh boy.
'Cause we don't talk about them enough,
No.
do we? Netflix streams your favorite TV episodes and movies directly to your home, saving you time, money, and hassle. With Netflix, you can have shows and movies streamed directly to your PC, Mac, or your TV. All you need is a PS3, Xbox 360, or a Nintendo Wii console. And I know you guys have one of those, don't lie to me. For a limited time, Netflix is offering all Destructoid viewers their own free trial membership. Just go to netflix.com/Destructoid and sign up. And don't forget, Netflix is also available in the UK and Ireland now. Just head over to netflix.co.uk/Destructoid if you're in the UK, or netflix.ie/Destructoid for you Irish folk. Lads and ladies, as they call you over there. Back to the show. So Anthony and I got to go hands-on with a few of Nintendo's Wii U games last
That is correct.
week. Max and I actually discussed them on last Wednesday's show, I believe. But specifically, once we saw our new Super Mario Bros. U, which is the new one that's coming out for Wii U, we also saw Pikmin 3 and Nintendo Land.
Yep.
And if you guys recall from Max's and my discussion, one of my, and I think a lot of people's points of contention with games like New Super Mario Bros. U and a lot of these first-party Nintendo titles is that every time they release one, it feels like hardly anything has changed. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, you know, Nintendo, they know what their fans like. They understand how to iterate. And a lot of times, they don't change tons, but they change just enough to keep the experience fresh.
Yeah.
But with these games, particularly New Super Mario Bros. U, there really isn't a lot that's new or different, or really, it's not really iterating as much as it's just throwing extra things in. Well, so far, I should say so far.
With with the case of New Super Mario Bros. U, we see this game, it's on a completely new console. I expect it to be a huge visual upgrade from the last one, and it's really not.
No.
Like, they haven't changed the art style hardly at all. It really doesn't look a whole lot better than the previous ones, other than the fact that it's in HD.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of people are saying. They're just like, oh, you know, as long as it's a Mario game and it's in HD, and I've never had that before, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I think Nintendo's only going to be able to skate along with that for so long before people are just like, well, now you got to do some work.
Yeah. Well, so Reggie Fils-Aime, I guess that's how you...
Fils-Aime. Fils-Aime.
There's no E though, because it ends in E. Either way, President of Nintendo of America has basically responded to all these criticisms by saying that gamers are insatiable. He basically pointed out that whenever Nintendo finally does share or release information about a project, the response from the community is always, thank you, but I want more. Thank you, give me more. He said in an interview with Kotaku recently, for years, this community has been asking, where's Pikmin? Where's Pikmin? Where's Pikmin? We give them Pikmin, and then they say, what else? For years, this community has said, damn it, Reggie. First of all, who would curse at Reggie? That's
I would never.
Inappropriate. Damn it, Reggie. When you launch, you better launch with a Mario game. So we launched with a Mario game, and they say, so what's more? So clearly, they don't seem to think that the repetitiveness is an issue, and that people, do they think it's too much to ask?
He's not getting it. He's just not getting it. Okay, so yes, we've been asking for Pikmin, but you can't just launch with Pikmin. You can't just launch with like this little cult classic thing. And then when you say, oh, well, we want a new Mario, you don't be cheeky, Reggie. You knew we didn't mean New Super Mario Brothers Wii. Don't pretend like that's what we wanted. We wanted a Sunshine, we wanted a Galaxy, we wanted a 64. We wanted something new that was going to show off. Don't pretend like you didn't know that.
And what they gave us was Nintendo Land, which they say that people wanted. He said in this interview, people were asking, how are you going to leverage all of the Nintendo franchises aside from Smash Brothers? And he said, we give them Nintendo Land, and they say, ho-hum, give me more. So, did anyone really ask for Nintendo Land?
I mean, so he's got a point wherein, like, everybody was like, why don't they bring back this franchise and this franchise and this franchise? And not all of them are commercially viable. That's the answer. You get right down to it, and it's like, not everybody wants a sequel to all these franchises. But Nintendo Land is just another collection of mini games, but they've just slapped new skins on them. They've slapped Nintendo licensed skins on them.
Well,
we're on to you, dude.
Reggie's whole answer to this problem is basically play the game before you smack talk it, which I agree.
What I've played of it, the mini games are fun. They're solid. They're cute. But I mean, this is not like a Wii Sports where it's going to grab the attention of multiple generations or anything.
Yeah.
And it's not going to make hardcore Nintendo fans super happy just because you put a Link hat on a Mii.
Yeah,
that doesn't work.
That's true. Well, either way, it's an interesting discussion, I think, at least. That's all the time we have for today's show, unfortunately. Before we go, Anthony Carboni, do you want to tell us what is happening in video games this week?
Sure, I brought all these papers that say what are happening in video games this week. This week, Max interviewed one of the writers of Spec Ops: The Line. You can find that on this very channel, which is youtube.com/dtoid. Over on Rev3 Games, I spoke with Kotaku's Kirk Hamilton about the rise and fall of Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, while Max and Tara and I discussed whether video games are too violent. Too much violence on this week's Casual Friday, so go watch that.
Too many of the guns.
They're ruining
the Americas, etc. While you're at it on the internet or whatever it is you do, go follow us on Twitter. I am Tara Longest. He is A Carboni, and you can, of course, keep up with everything that we're doing at the show at Detoid Show. Props to Anthony for co-hosting with me while Max is on vacation.
Mad
I
props.
hope he comes back without all those venereal diseases on Wednesday. We are going to be back here on Wednesday in a regular studio episode, so thanks, buddy.
Oh,
Thanks for
thank
helping
you.
out.
My question is if they're not watching on the internet, you said the internet or whatever they do we have a shortwave
Don't ask
radio version
questions.
of the show?
You're done. Get off the set.